What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another match review stream as Spurs have lost their first game of the season, a 4-1 defeat at the Tottenham Hotspur stadiums at the hands of Chelsea, in a game where, if I could have said to you a few things that was to go wrong, like literally anything and everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong yesterday, and it feels as though pretty much our whole team has been decimated in the space of a few hours last night. And it's I got the sense of pride at the end of that game with the way that Spurs fought throughout the game, and the way that we kept trying to play our football and kept trying to create chances even with 9 men. But you can't help but feel like, where do we go from here?
It's definitely a disastrous day. Whatever happened in terms of, I mean, first of all, I would have told you before the game we're going to lose 4-1 and be down to 9 men and we're going to get clapped off the pitch. You'd be like, what are you talking about? Yeah. Especially at home to Chelsea. But that is exactly what happened yesterday. And I agree. I think we can definitely take pride and take something away from the game, considering how we stuck to our principles. And look, on another day, if Bentancur scores that chance, if Son scores his chance, we maybe end up talking about an amazing point that we're taking away from this game. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. We end up losing the game 4-1. But I definitely think the ramifications of this game is more about I wouldn't say off the pitch things, because they did happen on the pitch, but it's more about what happened to the squad, what happened to some of our better and most important players, and that is the most worrying thing going into the rest of the season. And you just get the feeling that this game, this 24-hour period, could have massive ramifications for what happens to Spurs this season. Now,
absolutely spot on. But if we look at the game's in terms of the starting lineup, I thought Ange got it absolutely spot on with the players that he did pick, with Brennan Johnson out on the left. Started the game really strongly, didn't he? Was giving them proper problems, and he was being so direct and dangerous, and we looked good in those opening 15 minutes. We really did. It looks as though Spurs meant business. Chelsea couldn't really handle us. We got that early goal with Decky, with the deflection finding its way in the back of the net, and at that point you're thinking, wow, we're on fire at the moment.
Yeah, we had our tails up for the first 15 minutes, and we obviously had that amazing team goal, which was ruled out for a fraction of offside from Heung-min Son as well. So 2 moments early in the game where we really had Chelsea on the ropes a bit. They were they were really struggling, I thought, in those opening exchanges. The Kulusevski goal, as much as we got a bit of luck with the deflection, I thought, again, it was a really good team move. Brilliant play from Maddison to Sarr, who played a quick ball out wide to Kulusevski, who did really well to force Levi Colwell back and get him backpedaling, which he was, and obviously he got a bit luck with the goal. And it looked like, and then every time it seemed that we get it to Brennan Johnson, he was causing them trouble. We had another one where he flashed across the face of goal, which no one was able to tap home. And we were looking energetic, we were looking bright, but something changed I think it was when Udogie got that yellow card. I don't know what minute that was.
18th.
Literally. So that must have been just after we had scored that second goal, which got ruled out. And then from that moment on, I don't understand what happened, but we just completely lost our heads. Look, we can blame Udogie and Romero, which I definitely think majority of the blame lies on them. We'll talk about that later. But it wasn't just them. It wasn't like in that period that lost their heads. Van de Ven was going walkies a lot of the time. He was doing some odd things. Like Porro was doing some stupid passes, which kept putting us in trouble. Like we just completely lost our way out of nowhere where we had control of the game.
Yeah, I think obviously Spurs, we thought we went 2-0 up on the 14th minute. That goal's ruled off for like the slightest of offsides. And then, yeah, you're right. I mean, I don't know what happened after that. Everyone just seemed to lose the plot. And I just can't put my finger on what it's about. Is it about a young team, trying to handle the occasion or something like that? Because it seems as though we were bang up for it, bang up for the occasion, bang up for everything. And then on the flip of a switch, everything just went completely wrong. Chelsea were getting goals ruled out for VAR. They got the penalty from the VAR. I mean, the amount of VAR calls yesterday, I've never seen anything
crazy.
Like it.
Apparently, the first half, was 57 minutes long.
Yeah.
And we only had 23 minutes of actual gameplay.
Is that right?
Because of all the VAR checks and everything, which is crazy to think about. Half an hour just weighing around, basically, we had in that first half. But I guess let's talk about the incidents individually. The Udogie, first of all, his first yellow, I don't know if you've seen it back. I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
You think it's a red, or you think he's lucky, or you think,
I
He's like,
think
he's fine.
I think if he is given a red, I don't think many people can complain about it, to be honest. And I think he was a lucky boy not to be given a straight red at that point. But like we were saying the same about him and about Romero. Both of them probably deserved reds before they actually got it, and then they both got it in the end. But I think both of them, Romero and Udogie, were both very lucky not to see red probably before they were.
I would say Udogie, I agree, the challenge was terrible. I think the only thing that saved him is he just didn't really make any contact with Sterling. And I think if he had done any made serious contact, I think he's got to go. It's two-footed. And the thing is, the annoying thing is, he got the ball first. There was no need to make a two-footed challenge.
Romero.
No, I'm talking about Udogie. Like that first one. Like he cleanly gets there first. He's anticipated the pass really well. There is absolutely no need to make a two-footed challenge there, like he's done. So I just don't understand why he's done that and made a stupid challenge like that, and risking the red card. Luckily, he gets away with it. And then Romero, for some reason, goes walkies. He charges up the pitch. He shoves Thiago Silva in his own penalty box, which whatever, I don't mind. And then he has a stupid kick out at Levi Colwell, which I think I would say is not a red. I think he's an idiot. Don't get me wrong. I don't understand why he's doing that. He's just making a nonsense.
But you're,
I don't think
you're
it's
giving the referee.
100%.
You're giving the referee a question, right? You're asking the referee to make a decision at that point, and you've seen those being given as red so many times. So why do it?
I'm not disagreeing with you. I just don't think it was a red. But I'm not disagreeing. He was idiotic for that action. There's no need for it. He's just, I don't know what he's trying to do. Maybe just trying to rile up Colwell to react. But it wasn't violent. I don't think you can say that was a violent kick. It was like Beckham against Argentina in '98. I don't think it's a red. It was just a stupid thing to do.
That? He got sent off.
Yeah, and everyone recognises that was probably the wrong decision. Even Simeone does.
Simeone does.
I don't think it was a red. But again, it was a stupid decision.
It's so stupid to be giving the referee that kind of question at that point in the game when like we're fairly comfortable in the game. We're 1-0 up, and we're in the ascendancy. We have control. And then these kind of things happen and we completely just lost it.
And even before, I think Sterling then had the goal ruled out. But even before then, I think Nicholas Jackson had a great chance where he absolutely spins Van de Ven and forces a brilliant save out of Vicario. Then obviously Romero goes walkies. They had a chance, which Sterling obviously scored, which I thought was really poor defending from Porro. But luckily there was a handball against Sterling, so that goal's ruled out. And as well, he actually... not only did Romero nearly get sent off, but him going walkabouts nearly cost us because he left that space open and no one was filling it in, and that nearly cost us a goal. And then Romero again gives the ball away in a really simple position, puts us under pressure again, and it led to a whole bunch of chaos, which led to ultimately Caicedo scoring. That got ruled out, but Romero, trying to make up for his stupid pass, ends up getting sent off and there was a bad reaction. I was watching the game with headphones, so I heard the Spurs fans weren't happy when they showed on the screen. But having watched it again, what do you think?
When I first saw it, because you see him just wing the ball and then obviously he follows through. At the first point, everyone around me, including myself, was like, nah, that's never a red card. That's never a red card. But then after watching it back, I think you can't really have any complaints, to be honest. He wins the ball, but he goes straight through the ball, and it's a really dangerous challenge in the end. Studs up, in the ankles, high up. I don't think anyone can have any complaints about the decision being made. And I said it. I think I said it at the time before all those crazy, because it was like two VAR checks before they checked the red card for Romero. And as soon as that happened, I was like, they're going to check a penalty red card here. They're going to check penalty red card. And alas, that's what they did. And that's what was given. And I don't think anyone can have any complaints about that.
I don't think so. I think Romero's, again, there was no... I understand he was trying to be forceful to stop a shot from Enzo, but he didn't have to follow through like that and just completely go through the man. And it was a dangerous tackle. It was a dangerous tackle. The only thing he can say is he won the ball, and it was a bit unlucky the fact that that's where the tackle ended up. But I just think at the end of the day, he was just on that for some reason in those first half an hour, and he was just on a mission to try and hurt people, it seemed, and that was the consequence of it.
And look, we've given Romero a lot of praise for his work so far this season about how he's taken that leadership role by example. He's not doing any of these crazy things anymore, and he's towing the line between being over aggressive and stuff like that. But yesterday was back to the old Romero, and it wasn't good to see. It really wasn't, because he put us under pressure massively yesterday, and that's not what we need from a leader on the football pitch. And unfortunately, it was Romero back to the old Romero yesterday.
It was so needless. Like, we were in control, playing well, and then he just, I don't know what he was thinking yesterday.
He lost his head.
And it cost us. It absolutely cost us, because if he doesn't make that challenge, and who knows what would have happened. But definitely, I think we would have been much more in the game. I know, look, to be fair, even before the red card from Romero, Chelsea had definitely got control of that game and had 2 goals ruled out already before that moment. So it's not as if it was only that point that Chelsea started to get in the game. But who's to say that we wouldn't have regained control of that game if
I thought
Romero...
we would have done. I never felt like we weren't going to win this game. Even 10v11, I thought we could do something in the second half. I really did, but I always thought it was going to be a situation where Chelsea were going to put a lot of pressure on us in the first half, and it surprised me how quickly we came out the blocks in those first 15 minutes and how dominant we looked. And I did expect there may be a moment or a period of dominance from Chelsea in that first half, but we couldn't handle it. We didn't handle it well enough, and the moments that you saw from Romero and Udogie, it's just not good enough in a game like this, and we need to kind of look at ourselves and look at those 2 players specifically, and probably the other players you're talking about, because when we came under pressure yesterday, we did not handle that pressure well whatsoever. Yeah.
The only thing I would say is, in previous games, like, we've maybe as well had troubles with pressure, like what Chelsea put us under, like maybe the Arsenal game and whatever. But what we've been really good at is we've been really good at finding solutions to these problems, and I feel like the red cards didn't allow us to do that yesterday, and that really put a spanner in the works when it came to managing the game. Obviously Palmer puts the penalty away, which
just about
so close to Vicario stopping that. We end the half at 1-1, which whatever. Look, it's 1-1. We're under pressure, and then second half. Again, I think we tried to play our game, but the most annoying thing about the red card, which happened really pretty much at the start of the second half, was that Udogie does so well to stop a 3-on-2 in Chelsea's favour, and then he just completely undercuts all his good work in a split-second decision by
and he knew it
fouling.
Straight away.
Yeah, he knew it.
See it straight away. It's like such a stupid challenge to make when you're on a yellow card, especially when we're down to 10 men already. It's like, what
we didn't even
doing?
mention Van der Ven injury, Maddison both going off in the
That
first
Van der
half.
Ven injury, as soon as that happens, as soon as he pulls up,
you just know.
You just knew it was going to be a really bad one. Now, we haven't got the extent of it just yet, but by his reaction, it looked like to me he was like crying on the pitch last night. And I actually
think if we were going to get a result, he was going to be basically the key to it, because he's so quick. He can sweep up so many situations. And I think, honestly, I'm looking at a lot of the goals we conceded late on in the game, and we'll talk about the defenders who came in his place, but I'm looking at the goals. I'm thinking if Van der Ven was there, I reckon they probably don't even happen. A few of those chances. Like, I think if you're going to play the way we played in that last half an hour, you need a defender like Van der Ven. He needed a defender like him, otherwise it's too easy, and that's ultimately what proved in the end. But obviously that looks like a horrific injury. Maddison hopefully doesn't seem as bad. Ange said he went off because we were already man down and he didn't want to risk any further problems. And
was it not an injury?
It was an injury, but he said he maybe could have carried on in a different situation, but like, because we were already a man down, he thought it was safer to take him off. So hopefully his that's not too bad, but we'll see.
Højbjerg come on for Maddison, didn't he, at that point? Or he came on for Van der Ven, but like, how good was Pierre when he came on yesterday? I thought he was unbelievable, filled in at centre-back. I thought he was brilliant. The way his energy and his application, everything is what we needed at very much that moment in time, because I thought he stood up massively for the team yesterday. Yeah,
exceptional. I think he really did a great job with him, especially when he had to move to centre-back. I thought he was actually a really good ball-playing centre-back. I've got to give him credit. I thought when he came on, he actually filled in and partnered Eric Dyer really well. And I think we ended the first half with a back four of Porro, Dyer, Emerson and Udogie. And then in the second half, it went to Porro, Dyer, Højbjerg and Emerson at left back. It was just complete Barney. It was craziness what was going on. Obviously, Udogie Udogie gets sent off with a stupid challenge, undercutting his good work, which was a massive shame. So now we're down to 9 men. We then make a double substitution. Bentancur and Skip come on. So then I think we're at this point in time, we've got a 4-3-1 with just Son up front, with a Basuma, Bentancur and a skip in the middle, and a back four of Porro, Dyer, Højbjerg, and Emerson. But after that, what happened was just something I don't think I've ever seen was expecting.
I've never seen that before. You go down to 9 men, and all your players are pushed up to the halfway line.
It's crazy.
We had pretty much at one point, every single player we had was in a one row, on the halfway line. I was like, I've never seen anything like that before. Like, there are two ways you can look at it, right? You can look at it by being like, that's just batshit crazy, like, to do that. With
suicidal, I guess.
And against a team like that, especially Chelsea. I know they're not playing great at the moment, Chelsea, but they've got players that can hurt you, right? Either you look at it like that's just batshit crazy, or you say, like, you commend the effort and the bravery and everything like that. And essentially, it nearly worked. Because they kept going through on goal. Vicario kept sweeping up. Vicario, bloody hell, was unbelievable yesterday. Like, the saves that he was pulling off, the catches from the crosses, and the way he was sweeping up yesterday, that was one of the best goalkeeper performances I've seen in a long time, and we lost 4-1.
Yeah, it was incredible. He made some really good saves, but what it forced Chelsea to do, basically, the way we pushed all the way up. So basically, Chelsea because we were basically baiting them into this ball over the top every single time. We were waiting for it. So Vicario was just basically waiting on the edge of the penalty area every time, waiting for this ball over the top that he knew was coming, because we were forcing them into it in a way. And it was basically, he just kept sweeping up time and time again. He was like an extra centre-back, essentially, playing in that position. And he was doing it exceptionally well. I don't think he got one wrong. Every single time he came out of his penalty area, he got it right.
Spot on.
He was absolutely phenomenal at sweeping. And it basically forced Chelsea into that. And because they were basically playing into our trap in a way by continually going over the top. And to be fair, Chelsea did rush it a bit, and I think if we played a better quality team on the day, they'd probably find a solution a bit earlier. And obviously they did find one where Cucurella goes through and Vicario forced a save, and then that followed up by, I think, Palmer having a shot saved by Vicario as well. But in fact, I was looking at the stats. He only made 3 saves, Vicario, and that's because he just kept sweeping. They didn't allow that chance to come, and that was the most impressive thing. But unfortunately, the reality is it only takes one time to go right, and you get unstuck, and that is what happened in the 76th minute. But I think you got to give the team massive credit for how they responded to going to conceding that goal, because obviously we did the mega high line thing, which was absolutely it was incredible to see. We ended up getting undone with the goal from Jackson, but in that period for about 10 minutes, and obviously they scored in the 94th to wrap it up, but in that period we had 3 real promising openings to score. Obviously Dyer did score, which was just a hairline offside. It was it was a great goal.
I went to the toilet just after Jackson scored, and then I hear the whole stadium going mad when Dyer scored. I literally just zipped up and just ran into the stadium, and then it goes offside. But yeah, I mean, it was a great volley from Eric Dyer.
What a story that would have been.
First of all, Eric Dyer was brilliant yesterday after he came on. I think there was a few dodgy moments from passing out the back after he came on, but I thought he was brilliant defensively, obviously with the volley as well. And everyone was saying it in the stadium yesterday when Dyer came on. They were like, this is his redemption arc. He's going to score the winner today. And he got that, and everyone was just like, no way. But look, it wasn't to be. Son goes bearing down, skinning their defence alive, and maybe a better shot would have hit the back of the net there. And Bentancur,
was the one. Why the
hell did he not use his feet?
That was the one.
Why didn't he use his feet?
What a chance. That was the one, really, because he was onside right in front of goal. And what a story that would have been if he ended up scoring the equaliser after what he's been through, and especially his first game back at home as well after his injury.
I thought he looked good when he came on.
I thought he looked good as well. I mean, it was a tough situation coming on with 9 men, so every time he had the ball, he pretty much had like 2 or 3 men around him, so it was very difficult to do what we know he can do, but he did as well as he could, and it was such a shame. And I think he won the header for Dyer's for when Dyer scored as well. So like he made an impact when he came on, even in the limited time he had on the ball. But obviously that was the chance. If he scores that, maybe we take a point, and it would have been an absolutely incredible point to take, an incredible moment. But unfortunately, he heads it into the ground. It's such a shame. And then obviously they go and score 2 and 3 and 4 and seal the game. Which when you're pushing for an equaliser and there's going to be even more gaps. I mean, I don't know how there can be, considering we had all our players on the halfway line, but there were even more gaps than before. And I think the goals we conceded, I have to say, I saw them again. I'm not saying I'm completely blaming Dyer, but he was just, they just exploited his lack of pace on those moments. And what can you do? That's the reality of him playing in that role.
At the end of the day, you're playing with 9 men for the majority of the second half. You're playing with 10 men since half an hour in or something like that. You're going to get tired legs. You're going to get found out. You're going to get caught out. And that's exactly what happened. And look, you got to give credit to the team for sticking away, like not conceding, not going down until the 75th minute. I mean, that's impressive in itself.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the big thing with Postecoglou in this game is, even though we had 9 men, we still tried to win the game. Like we didn't try and just do what Liverpool did, basically, which is sit back in all 9 players inside the penalty area and try and see our result and just try and all we can to claim a point. Which maybe if we would have done that, and maybe we would have got the result.
That could have been our downfall. That could have been our downfall. So I don't know. Like, if we would have just parked the bus and put everyone behind the ball, would Chelsea had enough to break us down?
Who knows? Maybe they would. We don't know that. But all I'm saying is that's not Postecoglou's philosophy, and that's not how he plays. He goes to win, and even if it means...
But that's not Klopp's philosophy either. Like, Klopp's philosophy is not to sit back and defend. You know what I mean? His philosophy is to go out and attack. Like, surely you got to read the game and find out what the best thing is to go and take something from the game. Well, I guess, was that really the best way of going about things?
I guess Postecoglou's thinking was, I've been training the whole week, to play in a certain way. There's no point changing it just because we're down to 9 men. I think the players will probably be better doing it our way than trying to play in this low block and adjusting to the game. Yeah, maybe down the line when we're further down the project, maybe that'll be a different scenario. But right now, when we're in the infancy of our project, maybe it's kind of thing, just by hook or by crook, we're just going to keep going in our way, and that will serve us better in the long term, rather than just trying to shift and adjust all the time to how the game is going. And if we stick to our project and how we like to play for the time being, that will serve us better in the long term. Maybe that's how he's thinking. And there was kind of method to the madness. I did understand what he's trying to do. He's forcing Chelsea into these long passes while preparing for it, and kind of playing on our terms, not waiting to concede, but kind of forcing the chances for Chelsea so that there will be turnovers quickly so we can get back on the ball.
It could have been a lot worse though than what it was. That's just the truth. Like you said before, like if we would have come out against a much better team, or a better team on the day that was getting their balls spot on and they're timing their runs better, we could have conceded about 8 or 9.
Yeah,
literally.
It's true. It is true. I can't deny that. And so that's just, look, we're not going to find ourselves down to 9 men often, hopefully. So I don't think it's going to be a common occurrence. And maybe if, let's say, it's a situation where it's the end of the season and we need a point to get top 4 or something, and the same situation happens, I'd like to think Ange wouldn't have done what he did yesterday, basically, in that scenario. But I just think right now we're in, 11 games in, we're still very early on the season and the project. I think he's thinking, I think I need to ingrain in these players that we don't stop playing our game, no matter the circumstances or whatever it is. That's how we're going to play. And I think that's probably what he was doing by playing how he played yesterday. And I commend him for it.
I commend him as well. I do commend him because it was very brave what he did, albeit we did ended up losing 4-1. But it could have been a different story if we did put away those chances. Like, if that Dyer goal is not offside, that's like hitting back straight away just after they went 2-1 up. If Sonny scores that chance, if Bentancur scores that chance, it could be a completely different game. It really could have been.
And then you're talking about a genius.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the thing, that the line is very fine between being absolutely mental and being a genius, isn't it?
Exactly.
And that's what it was yesterday. But in terms of players I thought the players yesterday, the ones that were left on the pitch, every single one of them put in such a shift for the team yesterday. And that's what I was most proud about. We literally, the motto is we never stop, and they did never stop. Literally, they never stopped throughout the whole game. Sonny, the amount of running Sonny did yesterday, I mean, he looked absolutely knackered by the end of the game, and he had a right to be, because I thought he was brilliant yesterday, Heung-min Son. I really did. If only he would have put that chance away, and I really I really envisaged him scoring that chance. Sanchez got the better of him in that moment of time, but I thought there was not one player on the pitch that was left on that pitch on 90 minutes that I can fault yesterday. I thought Bissouma, I've seen actually mixed reviews about Bissouma yesterday, but I thought he as well didn't stop running. I thought he did such good work defensively for the team when we were down to 9 men. He was surrounded by players at time, and he seemed to get out of it more times than not. Pedro Porro, I thought, had a really strong game yesterday after a very nervy start from him. Maybe a lot of wayward passes in that first half from Pedro Porro, but when we were down to 9 men, I thought he was growing into the game and being influential for us. Every single player that came on yesterday, Højbjerg, Emerson, Ollie Skip, Bentancur, all were unbelievable when they came on. So
only three players who started the game finished it.
Mad, absolutely mad. But look, everyone that finished that game yesterday for Spurs needs to come out of that with their head held high, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it was really difficult circumstances, and I think that's what people were coming out of it yesterday, especially the fans in the stadium, why they were so proud of the team, because I think they could see the intent, they can see that the non-stop running and how that is ingrained in the team from Postecoglou. And even though we didn't get the result, and even though we got, in the end, it was a 4-1 heavy defeat at home to Chelsea, yet the fans were still appreciative of what they saw. And I think that goes to show that it's not just the results the fans judge the players on and everything, that we can see beyond that. We can see the intent and how we can see the effort the players are putting in, and we can appreciate that. And I completely agree. I thought, in the circumstances, very difficult circumstances, I think they can all hold their heads held high in the effort they put in and how close they were to gaining what would have been an incredible result under the circumstances. It is a shame that now we've lost that unbeaten run. Postecoglou's lost his unbeaten home record as well. That's all a massive shame.
We were the last team to get beaten this season. They can't take that away from us.
Which, look, is what it is. But I think every player put in a real shift yesterday, and it's just a shame we got in the end nothing to show for it. But hopefully, I was reading Charlie Eccleshare's article today. He said in the dressing room after the game, apparently there was a real sense of pride and defiance in how we tried to manage the game and how we approached being down to 10 men, and everyone was proud, or about 9 men even, and everyone in the dressing room apparently was very proud of how they performed despite the result and the defeat. So hopefully these kind of moments will stand us in good stead when it comes to down the line, when everyone's really buying into just the atmosphere in the dressing room and everything like that. The fact that we lost 4-1 at home and no one's downbeat and no one is dejected and everyone still has their heads held high, hopefully I'll still give them the confidence that even though we're going to have challenges now in the future weeks with defenders missing and things like that, maybe we can overcome these things with the team spirit that we have.
I've never seen anything like it. I've never been at a game where Spurs have lost by a significant amount and they get clapped off the pitch, and there was literally a standing ovation for the team at the end of that game. And I've just never seen anything like it. Like, have you? Like, where we Spurs get absolutely, like, I wouldn't say torn apart, but we lost 4-1. And there's a standing ovation and a sense of pride after the game.
Especially against a rival as well, against Chelsea. Losing 4-1 to Chelsea
at home.
Everyone would have thought this is a disgrace. Everyone's going to be going crazy after the game. But no one is doing that. No one is, like, after the fan show yesterday, everyone was coming on with a sense of pride about what we had done. And even though, like, you could even argue we were stupid in how we approached being down to 9 men and stuff like that. But I think it's more to do with you could just see the effort the players were putting in and how they were approaching they were being brave. And I think no one can take that away from Tottenham, and I think the fans can acknowledge that. And that all comes down from the manager and how he has instilled that in the players. And I think that's seeping through into the team. And I think it just proves that everyone still really believes in what he's doing. And even though we got a bad result yesterday, and even though as well, like the circumstances, Van de Ven injury, like it was a very worrying game, people are still very positive about what they saw.
I don't know about you in terms of the refereeing performance yesterday, but I felt like in the first half, the referee was just not giving anything to Spurs. Like, I don't know what it was like on TV, but from the stands, it felt like Chelsea were being very aggressive towards Spurs, and we were not getting anything. And yes, Spurs got their decisions, and rightly so, and maybe they could have come before that, and Spurs weren't exactly being angels themselves. But I felt like it was only Spurs getting penalised and not Chelsea.
I don't think there was a massive sense of that. There were a few fouls, to be fair, which I thought definitely we should have had, and they weren't given. It was a bit peculiar. But I would say, obviously, we got a bit lucky with a couple of VAR decisions, didn't we? With Udogie and Romero not getting sent off. So I wouldn't say it was completely one-sided. But I just thought the ref had a poor game in general. I didn't think he had a particularly great game. And VAR, just again, I mean, Postecoglou obviously spoke about VAR, didn't he, after the game really well, saying how, we have to stop complaining about decisions, and if you keep complaining, we're going to get more and more time added on to these VAR decisions because they're going to want to get the things right, and so they're going to take longer to look at these decisions, and we're going to have more waiting around, and that's not what you want to see. And I completely agree with him, and I think he spoke really well on it. But again, VAR is just getting involved in every minutiae. It seems to be getting more and more involved, VAR, as the weeks go by. And it's very, very frustrating. We're getting really long wait times. And you know what the most frustrating thing is? Like, for example, the Dyer decision yesterday, it really became apparent how it takes away that moment, because Dyer scored a goal and then I start celebrating, but then immediately there's a VAR decision. So the celebration lasted a second, then we got this VAR decision, and it just made me think, even if this goal is given, we're not going to get that moment back that Dyer scored and everyone's going crazy. That's gone now because of how VAR has come in and implemented it, and it's just not the same. And that Dyer decision goal could be given, and I'm still happy about it at that time. But that sense of euphoria and that sense of oh, what a moment, would never come back just because VAR is getting involved, and we just lose so much with VAR. And I'm starting I was a big fan of bringing it in, the technology, but just the way it's implemented at the moment and how football games are going, we just lose way too much of the sport, of what's good about the sport, to justify VAR coming in and even getting decisions wrong. Not to say they got anything really, really wrong yesterday, but I just think in general they're still getting decisions wrong. So it's not taking away that element of talking about the refereeing decisions, and we're losing a lot of the spontaneity of the sport and the energy of the sport and the fast-pacedness as well. There's too much waiting around now, and too much, and for this is me feeling it, watching it on stream, watching on TV. In the ground, it must have been 10 times worse, because you just don't know what's going on, and it's just, for you, it's just crazy waiting around, not even knowing what they're checking or anything.
Yeah, look, it is frustrating, but I just think it's best to come to the correct decision. But I just don't understand why it takes so long to get to the right decision. Dyer was so clearly offside yesterday. Why isn't that a split-second decision?
Because we don't have automated offside, so we have this bloody drawing lines.
It's ridiculous. Stupid. But even with drawing the line in Stockley Park, that decision made, it should take a few seconds to draw that line and to come to a decision. Why does it take so long? Every decision yesterday, when they came to it, took so long to come to that decision. And it's just we're just waiting around for so long, and it doesn't need to be that way.
And for me, even things I know it's going to be controversial, but even things like the Romero red card, I don't think VAR should be getting involved in that, because it's subjective. Yes, I do. I personally think it's a red card. I think he's a reckless challenge. But some would argue he got the ball and he was unlucky because the follow through happened to catch Enzo on the ankle, and maybe you could argue it was just a bit of an unlucky follow through, and you could have gotten away with not giving him a red. So when it's subjective like that, the VAR should just be implemented when the referee has just missed an absolute howler, and he's missed something that is so obvious that everyone can see that should be the decision, like a penalty that he's completely missed or something like that. But in decisions like that, even with the Udogie one, even with the Romero red card, I just don't think the fact that VAR is getting involved in all these decisions, that isn't what I think the purpose of VAR should be. VAR should be missing clear and obvious. It should be sticking to the clear and obvious mantra that they brought it in, but it's getting way too involved. And I think Andrew's absolutely right. It's completely taking away the authority of the referee on the pitch, because the referee can give a decision, but the players won't even believe it because they know the VAR's there and they can overturn the decision, they can influence things. So they're completely diminished any sort of authority the referee has on the pitch. So that means he loses complete control on the pitch from the players because he doesn't have their respect or anything. And it's leading to, I think it's leading to, yeah, it was a great game to watch for the neutral, but I feel like these moments we're just losing way too many of them in the game, and I'm starting to question whether it's worth it at the moment. I think a lot of fans have already gone over to the other side saying it's not worth it, we should scrap it. I'm not 100% on the line of scrapping it just yet, but we need to, then something needs to change, because the way it's being implemented is not good for the game, in my opinion. It leads to too much waiting around, which is pretty much what the selling point of this game was.
It doesn't need to be that way, though. It doesn't need to be that way. It's the people that are implementing this VAR literally have no clue.
When we had it in the World Cup in 2018, I remember it was brilliant. Like, the decisions were made so quickly. It didn't really interrupt the flow of the game, apart from a few moments.
Because in the World Cup there, you had the best people in the world manning it. You had the best people from each country. It seems like in England they just have no clue how to use it.
In the World Cup of 2018, I don't think that Romero red card probably gets given. I think they just quickly move on with it if they go on the on-field decision. Like, I think they weren't delving into every single decision, only the real clear and obvious ones. And I think the Premier League, it's just getting too involved, way too involved in these too long wait times. Like, even with the Arsenal one, like, they were checking every single little thing, and they were taking minutes, and there was like a 2-minute wait on this, 2-minute wait on this, 2-minute wait on that, and it's just not, it's not good enough. But then again, we had the Liverpool incident, and that happened because they were going way too quickly, and so everyone complained about that, and now they're spending 5 minutes on every decision. So you reap what you sow, in a way, because everyone complained about it. And that's what Andrew's saying, is like, if you're going to constantly complain about these things, then you're going to have these long wait times, because referees are going to want to take the time to make sure they get it right. And so I don't know. So that makes me think, like, is it ever going to improve with VAR?
Well, first of all, in terms of offsides, the offside thing is such an easy fix. Just implement automated offsides. That's all you need to do. It's like the most simple fix I've ever seen. And once you saw it work so well in the World Cup and the Champions League,
like, works well in the Champions League.
Why the hell is it not implemented in the Premier League? Why? It makes no sense. That's the one way that you can combat the offsides. The other thing is a whole different topic and a whole different conversation. But look, let's move on from the refs, because I'm just sick and tired of talking about refs and VAR every single weekend, literally. But let's finish off talking about where the hell the Spurs go from here, because we've got Romero out for 3 games, we've got Van de Ven out for God knows how long, we've got Udogie out for the next game, we've got Maddison, who knows if he's going to be out or not. Richarlison has just come out and said that he needs surgery, so he's going to be out for a while. What the hell is our backline going to look like for the next 3 games?
Yeah, especially with Man City coming up. But even before, don't even think about Man City, we got Villa and Wolves before that, and 2, hard games. I don't know what the hell our backline is going to look like. I'll assume Dyer probably keeps his place. Does Højbjerg play as a makeshift centre back maybe, and we bring Bentancur in? Ashley Phillips comes in. Dorrington. He wasn't, which is why probably why he didn't come on. But does Emerson play makeshift centre-back? Because he was the one who we went for initially in that first half. But Højbjerg did such a great job in that second half. Maybe he considers Højbjerg to play. It's going to be... The thing I would say is I'm less worried about it against Wolves, potentially, than I am obviously against Villa and City, because Wolves aren't the most offensive team. Obviously, Neto's probably going to be missing from the game. And we're still going to be a team, even with these problems, we're still going to be a team that sticks to our principles, is going to be playing with possession football.
That worries me.
It worries me, but I think it's a good thing as well, because it means that even though our defence is going to be makeshift, hopefully we still don't have to do as much defending, which means that even though we're going to have these problems at the back, and when we lose the ball and when teams are attacking us, it's going to cause problems, don't no doubt about it. It still means that we can still win games by trying to outscore the opposition, or even just trying to keep possession away from the opposition.
Mental games, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
I think we're going to see a lot of high-scoring games,
because we've seen, how many times that Van de Ven has just done the sweeping, and when there's been counter-attacks or attacks on us, and Van de Ven just comes over and just deals with it, basically.
Can you imagine if Bissouma gets booked in the next game after this Wolves game, in the Villa game?
Yeah, then
we go to City with no Bissouma, no Romero, no Van de Ven,
maybe
no Maddison.
It's that Man City game which I'm very worried about.
I'm worried about the Villa game. I'm worried about Wolves this weekend as well.
I'm not saying I'm not worried as if like I think it's going to be an easy win. I'm saying I still think we can win that game.
We can, but
without these players, because I think the way we're going to approach the game means that even we can play with a very poor back four but still win, because the way we play is going to set us up that we're going to keep possession away from Wolves, and hopefully they won't have too many options to attack us, and especially without Neto as well. So hopefully that can still play in our favour. But when it comes to Villa, I agree, because they're very good up front, and Man City obviously are Man City, and they're going to have they're probably going to have the ball more than us.
With the Man City game though, like we've seen that we've had the blueprint over the last few years, where we can beat Man City, where we sit back, hold tight, hit them on the counter. We know we're not going to do that at the Etihad. So surely just going to the Etihad playing Ange ball is completely suicidal.
Correct. But he's going to do it.
It's completely suicidal. Like we are going to get absolutely battered in that game. Like,
but maybe we'll score a couple of goals as well.
Yeah, but I just feel like maybe just for one game, Ange, one game.
He sticks to his principle. He won't do it. Why though? But I understand we might get battered, but it's a learning curve for the team, and it means that Ange isn't going to adjust, especially right now.
But maybe he should, is what I'm saying.
Why? Why for the long term of the team?
But one game is not going to change the long term of the team. One game, just one game where you know
he's sending a message.
If you stick to your principles, you're going to get absolutely battered. Why not just show what we've done against City for the last couple of years with what we have to go through with all these missing players? Just look at that situation and think, all right, let's not be a bit naive here. Let's just stick together.
I wouldn't call it naive. I call it stubborn. I think
it's a bit of both.
I don't think it's naive. Postecoglou has been a manager for a long time. He's not naive. He's seen everything. He knows exactly what, if he does what he's going to do against Man City, I think he knows what he's up against. He knows what might happen. I don't think he's naive. I just think he's stubborn. He's going to stick to what he's doing because this is the way we train. This is the way we try to play. He's probably thinking there's no point. The best way of going forward and trying to get a result is trying to play the way we've been training the whole season rather than just adjusting for one game and hoping for the best and hoping to keep them out through defending in a deep block and all this kind of stuff. His philosophy would be, we're better off trying to play the way we're going to play and trying to get a result that way than trying to just adjust our whole way of playing and trying to become good at that way. The reason why we've been getting these results against Man City the way we've been doing recently is not because we've adjusted our way of playing for Man City. It's because that's the way we've been training and we actually did it really well, but we haven't been training that way under Postecoglou. So no point just adjusting it all for one game and thinking that it's going to get us, that's the best way to get a result. The best way to go about it is to go forward with how we've been going, and if we get the result, we get the result. That's probably he's thinking the best way forward is.
Yeah, but I still feel like when you get put in a situation, you need to react to the situation, and we're going into a really difficult period now, and a really difficult situation with our defense and our backline completely decimated. Ange has known and Ange has seen this team probably play against Man City before and the way that we can do it. And these players have shown that they can do it before. So why not just for one game, just try sit back and hit them on the counter with the players that we know that can do it, with Sonny, with Brennan Johnson, with these kind of players.
If you're a vegetarian, you don't go for a Macca's. That's the reality. If you're a vegetarian, you don't go for a late night Macca's.
Yeah, well, you can. You can get a veggie burger.
Veggie burger.
Let's go get a veggie burger.
Let's go get. I don't think so. It's not. You don't get seen. If you're a veggie, you don't get seen going into Macca's.
Let's go get a veggie burger from McDonald's. That's what I'm saying.
No, absolutely not.
But look, it's going to be a very, very difficult.
And I think that this is what we got to part with. If this is Ange, I think he's going to. And we might go through some tough periods. Everyone knows we're going to go through some tough periods, but I think it's going to serve us better in the look. Guardiola didn't change his philosophy. You know what I mean? When in his first season, there were times where he was under real pressure. And I remember they lost 4-0 to Everton and away from home, and they were going through some really tough times. But he didn't say, "Oh, we're going to change it up because we're missing this player or that player." He stuck to his philosophy by hook or by crook, and in the long term, it served him very, very well. And I think Postecoglou looking at it the same way.
All right. That is your match review for the 4-1 defeat at Chelsea yesterday.